series that keeps you up to date on everything Independence Pro Wrestling. I am the voice of IPW, J-Rod. We've got a lot to go over after the annual Tough Luck event, which was held up before bell time by a pissed-off Chad Alpha, who told everyone he was hijacking the show and demanding a contract for a match with Jamal King. A few guys came to the ring to try to get Alpha to come to the back, but Alpha just destroyed them. Until a new face, Thomas Heim, came out. Heim tried to convince Alpha to head to the back, but Alpha attacked Heim. Unlike the other two guys, though, Heim was able to counter the jackhammer and dropkick Alpha out of the ring. Heim showed he isn't going to be bullied, and he has definitely caught the attention of Alpha and management. Thomas Heim will go one-on-one with Chad Alpha on April 6th at Coup D'e. Jam conducted a backstage interview with Idris Wolf to discuss his scheduled matchup with Julius Ascarius. Just like before, Ascarius attacked Wolf from behind. This time, Wolf was ready for it. Wolf demanded the match happen right here and right now. Referee Dave sanctioned the match, and we had ourselves a backstage brawl. It looked like Ascarius bit off more than he could chew, and Wolf was ready to show what he can do as the Breed Sleeper finally put the manic Ascarius to rest as Idris Wolf handed Julius Ascarius his first IPW defeat. Our first match inside the ring was Dragon Jones versus Brutus Dillon. On paper, a mismatch, but the assist from LaDon Sanders led to the upset victory for Dragon Jones. Josh Raymond offered his mentorship to Storm Garcon at Hale, and when she refused, Raymond stopped Garcon from winning the IPW Women's Championship. It looked like we were about to get Stella Vujo versus Josh Raymond for the championship, but Garcon came out and put a stop to that shit. There was no way she was going to let Raymond take her opportunity, and at the Women's Championship, for fuck's sake. Garcon challenged both of them, and it looked like we just might see a handicap match. Creepy music hit the speakers, and lovely Miss Larkin frantically ran up to the ring, apparently just to give Storm Garcon a hug. Garcon asked for help from Larkin, and Larkin agreed. We had ourselves an impromptu tag team match. Garcon and Larkin took it to Raymond and Vujo, with lovely Miss Larkin pinning the women's champion to win the match, undoubtedly putting her in title contention. Storm Garcon is more than willing to sit back and wait, because in the meantime, she wants Josh Raymond's ass. Remnar Gudlock took the road trip down from the UP solo and went at it with Black Excellence oddball Elijah Eros. A good showing for both men. Eros blasted Gudlock with a tornado punch for the win. Speaking of Black Excellence, LaDon Sanders, Dragon Jones, Michiana champion Jackson Stone, and team leader Jamal King made their way to ringside. King reminded Dragon Jones that LaDon Sanders had assisted Jones twice now, and King wanted that debt repaid when Sanders defended the Cyber Championship against Marco Modella later on. As a special St. Patrick's Day surprise to IPW fans, King also welcomed back the gift, DR Nolans, and we had the entire Black Excellence squad in the ring, which made King happy enough to call out #1 contender Anderson Knight to do the main event matchup earlier than expected. Knight called King's bluff, and the IPW champion tried to blindside Knight, and the match was underway. It looked like Anderson Knight was moments away from becoming IPW champion, but made a rookie mistake and couldn't take his eyes off the title belt. Just left an opening for King to spear Knight right out of his boots for a successful title defense. Instead of taking his belt and heading to the back, King decided to inflict more damage, just as he did on Big Jorge, attempting to end Anderson's career. And just like with Big Jorge, Jackson Stone came to the ring to try to check Jamal King. Stone and the rest of Black Excellence has no problem beating the hell out of people and dominating the company, but Stone draws the line in trying to end careers. Stone was able to convince King to stop, but when Jackson Stone asked Jamal King, "Are you good?" King responded, "No." "You good?" We were left wondering what he meant. As for Anderson Knight, this has to be such a big blow for him. He was right there, moments away from becoming IPW champion, and one simple distraction kept him from the gold. Perhaps seeing an old friend will keep the fighting spirit alive for Anderson Knight. IPW has just signed Knight's friend and fellow strongman competitor Donovan Cecil, who is set to make his debut on May 4th as IPW returns to Grand Rapids for Wrestling Strikes Back. Before the next match, Brutus Dillon approached Big Jorge, trying to clear up some confusion. Dillon explained to Jorge that Amadeus Ramirez was not offering Jorge a spot in the Midwest Militia, but rather friendship, Everyone knows with the way things are in IPW right now, it definitely does not hurt to have an ally. Big Jorge earned himself a shot at the Michiana Championship after pulling off one of the biggest wins in his career over Anthony Katina at Hale. Jackson Stone, still undefeated and the most dominant champion in the company, would be a hell of a roadblock for Big Jorge's hopes of becoming the second two-time Michiana champion in history. As expected, as soon as Jorge got the upper hand, 4 members of Black Excellence made their way to ringside to make sure their man kept the title. But before they could get involved, help for Jorge was on the way as the Midwest Militia came down to even the score, taking out 3 of the 4 Black Excellence members. The only thing left between Jorge and Stone was a distracted referee and Jamal King. But in a shocking turn of events, King blasted Jackson Stone over the head with the IPW Championship belt and jumped out of the ring. Jorge took advantage and handed Jackson Stone his first IPW defeat, becoming the second two-time Michiana champion in history. When Jorge left ringside, Jamal King gave Jackson Stone the most vicious beating we've ever seen. Jackson Stone has suffered 2 broken ribs, internal bleeding, a high ankle sprain, and a fractured wrist. Medical staff has suspended him indefinitely, and Jamal King has sent an emphatic message to anyone in Black Excellence who dares defy him in the future. Elijah Euros was looking all over for King, seemingly having no idea what King had just done. When Euros found King, King was dressed with his bags, packed and ready to leave the arena. King told Euros that he had a task for Euros to take care of in his absence. Chad welcomed to the ring Idris Wolf to talk about his big win in the backstage brawl earlier in the evening. Wolf came to the ring to a chorus of cheers and a pep in his step. Wolf said he may have had that fight earlier in the night, but he had plenty left in the gas tank and called out Dior Nolans. If this guy could beat up a previously unbeaten Julius Ascarius and Fate of 8 finalist Dior Nolans in one night, that would surely put him right in line for a shot at the champ. This right here was a future War on the Shore main event. 2 young Supreme athletes at the very beginning of their career going toe-to-toe. And it was interrupted by that bastard Elijah Euros. It was made clear that the task King gave to Euros was to recruit Idris Wolf to Black Excellence. Euros handed Wolf a t-shirt and Wolf put it on, then blindsided Dior Nolans, jumped out of the ring and threw the shirt back at Euros and Nolans, making some powerful enemies but gaining the adoration of the fans in the process. Twist and Flip made their first appearance in IPW as a tag team. Both Darren Fly and Nate Cobain had been going it alone since they debuted last summer, and now it was time to see what they could do together as they took on the Midwest Misfits for the IPW tag titles. The Misfits got the win, and Darren Fly looked to have blamed Nate Cobain for the loss. Marco Modelo has had one goal since returning to IPW: beat some sense into LaDon Sanders. Modelo believes Sanders has been brainwashed, and the only way to get a shot at Sanders would be to earn a shot at the Cyber Championship. Modelo worked his way up and finally got the shot. Sanders would be flanked by Dragon Jones, who was demanded by Jamal King to ensure Sanders kept the Cyber Championship. The story of this match was each guy knowing exactly what type the other guy's next move was going to be. This kept the stalemate going until Modelo accidentally kicked the referee. Sanders began yelling for Dragon Jones to get into the ring and hit Modelo. Dragon Jones refused and eventually tossed LaDon his belt and said, "Do it on your own." When Sanders turned around, he took a thunderous cheek clapper to the face before a huge diving leg drop from Marco Modelo, who is now our new IPW Cyber Champion. On her way out of the arena, Stella Bujo was chloroformed by lovely Miss Larkin and kidnapped. We don't know what the hell happened after, but we do know that Bujo had better wake up because she must defend the IPW Women's Championship against lovely Miss Larkin on Sunday, April 6th at Coup D'e. Way back at High Stakes, Marco Modelo told TVA that he could count on Modelo if he ever needed help with Black Excellence. TVA caught up with Modelo and asked if the offer was still on the table. Lurking in the shadows, ominous Ramirez looked like he was cooking up a plan of his own. That concludes this edition of The Insider. Join us on Sunday, April 6th at Revel and Roll in Kalamazoo, Michigan as IPW presents Coup D'Etat.